So if we had to diagnose Derrick, and then we're going to move on, what would you find based off of the story? So now you know the wife has come out, ex-wife has come out. It's because he left her, and then she's now changed her entire look. She's gone on a podcast tour telling her story, and her side of the story now that she has removed herself.
Yeah.
What would you find based off of the story, though? Because he really held up his... First of all, he didn't tell us he was married. And then he held up the marriage like it was this bastion of, like, holiness. And then we find out, by holy, do you mean hoeing?
Some of that, right? At the condo. So, you know, the first thing that I want to just remind us of is the fact that everybody's human.
That's right.
And so even if I'm presenting in a certain way, what I'm saying, what I'm giving may work for you. Doesn't mean that I'm implementing it in my own life. And it doesn't mean that you can't take what you need or what works for you, but having some discernment. When I listened to the story that his wife shared, it made me so sad.
Yeah.
Right? We don't use like simple terms, but I was so saddened by the story that she shared, because this was a woman who was looking for validation her entire life, who found it sitting in a corner of her classroom hiding.
Hiding, yep.
And so if you don't want to be seen and someone finds you, the first question that you need to ask is, why are you here?
But that's not the question we ask.
It's
a
not
lot
the
of times
question
it's
that we
like a
ask at
sigh
all.
of relief, where like the sky opens up,
Right.
where like finally somebody sees me.
Right.
Even if you don't say it out loud, that's an internal dialogue that's happening.
Exactly. But healthy people are not looking for hiding people, right? Healthy people are not looking for the ones who are in the corners being invisible. There's a difference between being self-confident and self-assured and doing my own thing and not flipping in the middle of the floor. But if someone is in the corner with their back to the wall and they don't want to be seen, it's generally not the type of energy that's going to treat you well, that's looking for you and that's come to find you. And so it was just really sad to me that she attracted this type of man into her life and carried this on for so long. They had, what, 2-3 children?
Yes.
And the fact that no one ever called her to task or attempted to hold her accountable. And I think a lot of the times, and I might upset some of the folks.
Yes, go ahead.
We use religion as a shroud.
And that happened a lot in there. That happened. I mean, and why do you think we do that, though?
It feels safe. It's comfortable. It's easier for me to say God is going to fix it, or God is going to save it, or someone else is going to do it for me, as opposed to really saying, here are the choices that I've made. These are the results that I've created.
Yeah.
Especially when you come from a legacy of some type of emotional trauma.
That's right.
Because I don't just have to deal with what I'm doing now, my choices now. I have to now look at how my choices now are connected to the things that happened to me previously. And do all of that messy work, get into all of that mud. And no one really wants to do that because the perception is better than the reality. And as long as other folks perceive me to be doing well and are validating me, I'm just going to go with that.
That's right. And a lot of us hide.
Of course.
So you talked about like being backed into the corner. Like you could be out and be be a large personality, but you are still hiding.
You are still hiding, still covering up, still wearing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 masks because you don't want to be seen. If you see me, you recognize me, I now have to look at myself. If I don't want to look at myself, I don't want to be seen, I don't want to be recognized, I'm going to go and hide either physically or psychologically and emotionally, which is what Derrick Jackson did.
Yeah. Yeah.